before. A little bit, a little bit hyping up a little bit for this, but still very, very helpful. And as was introduced, my name is Alex Ferguson. I am the Chief Therapist and Consultant, Natural Health Therapist and Consultant for the Holistic Health Pavilion here in the Bahamas. And also, I'm part of the Rapid Shalom Restoration Ministries International team. Going along with our topic for this evening, I must begin with the blessings of the herbs. Now, scripture talks about herbs, plants, leaves, and all for the benefit of mankind. Tehillim or Psalm 104 verse 14 says concerning the Most High, that he causes the grass to grow for the cattle and plants for the service of mankind, for the service of mankind, to bring forth food from the earth, but also for healing restoration. And then in the book of Hosea, Revelation, chapter 22, verse 2, it says, in the middle of the street, and on either side of the river, was the tree of life, or life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. I want you to know that as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end, and straight in the middle also. The leaves and the herbs are for the healing and benefit of mankind. I know many have said before that your food is your medicine, but I'd like to put a little twist on that. Your food is for your maintenance. Your herbs are for your medicine. The body is maintained by the nutrients that be taken in our food, but when a problem arises, it's the herbs that we look to for natural correction, and that is what we're going to be highlighting tonight. We're going to look at some natural remedies and the beautiful herbs for healing. Now, this presentation is being recorded, so the information that is in it will be at your disposal once the recording is released. So if I don't spend a lot of time on a page that has a lot of information, I will briefly go over it, and then hopefully once you have the recording, then you can take your time and peruse. And I'm going to open up my screen just a little bit wider as we get in, so that, good. Okay, starting from the top, we're going to go down, get back to where we need to be, the herbs for healing. Now, here's a disclaimer. The information provided in this presentation and on this platform is designed to highlight the effective, historical, and modern uses of herbs. The information is not intended to diagnose, prescribe, or replace physician-prescribed medication. All persons are encouraged to seek guidance from their physician, whether allopathic or naturopathic, before altering their medications. So, use wisdom. Grazia.
The Bible is my rod.
Yes, ma'am. Let it remain your reward. Now, here are the contents for tonight. Introduction to herbal cures. Categories of herbs and examples of each, and very important information to know, so that you'll know the herbs that are at your doorsteps that are beneficial to healing. They're classified, categorized, and also learning them and understanding them helps you to identify and to utilize them in a manner that is for your benefit. We're going to look at some herbal preparations, have some herbal recipes that you can use in case there's not a ready store that you can go to. But getting to know these is even better, because whatever you get from nature is so balanced. There are no side effects, okay? Also, everybody likes a savory pot. Incorporating herbs in cooking not only enhances flavor, but you get the benefit of the healing properties or nutrients from the plants as you consume. And then following that, we will have our discussion and questions. And I would like for persons, especially if you are familiar with plants, and you know of plants around you that you are utilizing or information that was passed down from generation to generation concerning herbal cures in your environment, please share on the platform when it comes time for discussion and sharing. Now, herbs are indeed nature's medicine. Herbs are the basis for all medicine. Its compounds are synthesized in modern times to produce modern medicine. It is the backdrop. It is the outline that has been used in laboratories to reproduce that which the creator made. The plants is the original source. There's nothing like the source. Now, the major difference between natural herbs and synthesized replacements is the lack of chemical balance found in nature. That is something that cannot be synthesized in the lab. And with the synthesizing of compounds in the lab, you have myriads of side effects. So natural is always better. Now, most of us are familiar to some degree with the use of herbs as medicine. To many of the generations before us, herbs were the only known and original form of medicine. The Caribbean peoples refer to this type of medicine as bush medicine, a term that I'm pretty sure that most of you on the platform are familiar with. A name derived from the fact that it is medicine made from preparations of bush. And not just going and picking out any bush, of course, but rather picking out specific bush among the bush to prepare medicinal remedies. Now, nonetheless, the process of using bush or herbs, that is leaves, stems, barks, flowers, roots, and sometimes the sap of the tree, constitute a science called herbology. And this is the provision of healing at your doorsteps, because most of your medicine is right around you as soon as you step out the door. Now, we're going to go into categories and classification of herbs or plants so that we would understand how they're classified and why they're classified the way they are, and how it can benefit us in our understanding of its use. Now, the classification of herbs is a follow-up in more details. Now, the classification helps us in selecting herbs for specific addresses, specific conditions that we might encounter. And usually it's based on the characteristic property of the herb. It is that is how it is classified. Let me say it again. It sounds a little bit confusing. Now, the selection of the herbs, first of all, are classified according to its properties, so that you'd find that herbs with similar properties, similar healing properties, are all in one classification or category. We will look at the classifications, some of the classifications and definitions of the classifications, and also a list of herbs falling within the classification. Now, this is the part where there's a lot of information. So what I'm going to do is give the general information, and when the recording comes out, then you can actually look more intently at what is not gone over, or you can screenshot. That's always helpful. And we begin with stimulants. Now, as the term stimulant suggests, it actually increases, it stimulates the body, raises the ante. Herbs that increase stimulus to the system, your body system, and increases blood circulation. Listed below are a host of plants and herbs that are classified as stimulants because they increase the blood circulation in the body. And some of these, I'm pretty sure that 2 or 3, if not more, you are very familiar with and have around. Notice, and you can look more closely at it once the recording comes out. These are classified as stimulants. So when you are utilizing them, utilize them with the knowledge that you're increasing blood flow, okay, and blood circulation, which is very good. That's the only way to get nutrients and oxygen throughout the body, increase the circulation. Then we have diuretics. Diuretics increase the output of urine. And that's necessary because it takes harmful substances from your body and passes it out in urine. And here we have some of the known diuretics. Now, some of these plants have multiple uses, but here we're giving the main classification is used for. That's just in case you see some plants appearing again on the different classifications. Then we have the classification of expectorants. These herbs, they cause the expulsion of mucus and break up congestion in the body. And again, look at what we have. Some of these are definitely right outside in your backyard. Some of these are right in your garden. These constitute healing at your fingertips. So if you want to get out some mucus, what we need is an expectorant. When you want to clear up the congestion, you need an expectorant. Here's a list of expectorants. Now we move on to the classification called astringents. Astringents are herbs that are natural cleansers and are antimicrobial in nature. And antimicrobial means that it is antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. And these are all natural in nature. So when you talk about an antibacterial or an antiviral or antifungal, something to fight fungus or virus or bacteria, you have your plants in nature that does it without side effect. And these plants, these herbs that you would be using from nature, pathogens have difficulty trying to adjust as they do to synthetic made antibiotics, where they would actually get used to the strength of the antibiotic, build up a resistance against it, and then soon you have a serious problem. With the natural, those pathogens have a problem. So these are your astringents. Next, we go to nervines. Nerve pain, stress. Herbs that relieve a nervous irritation caused by strain and tension. Yes, these are what you would go to. And note, you have multiple choices right from the Most High, placed at your disposal in your backyard. Now, some plants, I must say that some plants are common or are native to various geographical locations because of climate and other things, other contributions. But you would find that you would be able to find a similar plant with the same classification right in your environment. That's why it's good for us to become familiar with the plants in our environment. Take a nature walk. Look at the plants that are around you. And then everybody that has a cell phone now, basically, so you can actually Google it as you walk. Find out what the plant is used for. Identify it. You never know when you're going to need it. So that's our list of nervines. Now we go to tonics. Now, tonics are herbs that benefit the whole body. They're systemic. They strengthen the organs that are affected by the digestive system. It takes time to work. Treatment is recommended to continue until the system is adjusted. That means it's not a 365-day routine, but until the situation is corrected. And these are some of the herbs used to make tonics. And it's usually in combination. And you can use herbs in combination, but when you're combining herbs, please make sure that you're following a standard herbology treatise, a work that would have been done by persons who are trained, certified, and have compiled using information passed down. That way,
It seems we have lost Cohen again. Could we just hold on a few minutes and let's see if we'll get him back? Just a quick question, Shawit Hepzibah, can you hear me? This is somebody else in Bahamas. Shawit Alia, can you hear me?
Shalom, shalom, Dr. Cardi. Yes, I can.
Okay. And you're in Bahamas as well. So I was just checking to find out if the problem is widespread. So it seems as though it's just with Cohen's line.
Yes. I'll try and reach out to
Yes.
and him right now.
Thanks.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom. In the meantime, does anyone have a comment or question on what you have heard so far? Or anyone would like to share an experience with your use of herbs as a means of encouraging others?
Shalom, Dr. Cardi.
Shalom.
I'm still trying to get a hold of Sherette Hepzibah, and she just left out of the meeting. So I think they're having technical difficulties. And here's Cohen now. Shalom.
Okay.
again, that was one of the interruptions that I mentioned earlier, but let us just continue. Go back to sharing the screen. Okay. Need some help, engineer? Need to be my co-host again, please, to share the screen. Okay, just waiting to be made co-host so that once again share my screen. So thank you. Okay. Where we left off here. Tonight we're going to go a little further into herbal preparations by introducing some recipes. Using some recipes and giving some preparations. The recipes will be according to the complaint or the disorder. Okay, first we start with a little bit of beauty preparations for the ladies, especially. Acne, teenagers. natural acne cleanser. Clean your face thoroughly by fresh onion juice. And you do that simply by grating the onion, juicing the onion, but what you want is the onion juice, the fresh onion juice. And we're going to use that as a rub. Put it on your face, leave it on for 15 minutes, then rinse off well. The daily onions are an astringent. And what it will do, it will clean the pores and tighten it. We'll close up, clean it out, close it up, it's tight and fresh. Now here's a natural skin toner. I am not hesitating to mention that sometimes some women in the Caribbean tend to want to bleach their skins, remove the natural, beautiful skin tone. And they use very harsh chemicals that actually destroy the skin and also make you susceptible to diseases that you do not want, conditions that you never imagined that can come from using those products. Here is a natural skin toner that can be used without those detrimental side effects. Mix 2 tablespoons of turmeric with sufficient honey to create a creamy paste. Apply mix to the face as a mask. Leave on for half hour to an hour. Rinse face thoroughly after each daily application. Then after you've done that, after you've masked, you would actually smooth in some vitamin E oil the face as a moisturizer. I think within 3 to 4 weeks, you'd be surprised how naturally even your skin tone becomes. Those are 2 beauty recipes, very simple. We look at these 2 plants, their uses. Aloe vera, parsley. Now, everybody should have a small aloe plant in their kitchen. We talked about this the last time we did the herbal presentation, the powerful benefit, the potent benefit of aloe, and how in the kitchen where you susceptible with the burns, a little piece of aloe on that burn immediately soothes the pain and stops the burn mark, the discoloration, that comes after burn. Well, you apply aloe right after that burn, and that will not appear, and that's guaranteed. That's something that I've tried, other people have tried, and other people can verify. Let's look at some other uses. And for skincare, you have 1 handful of crushed parsley leaves wrapped in cheesecloth. Apply to the boil and wrap a hot cloth around it. Repeat covering the area with the hot cloth for 15 minutes. You're going to find that it brings the boil to a head and naturally bursts of its own. And this is the parsley poultice treatment. Okay. Next, we have a treatment for psoriasis. 1 cup of burdock root in 1 pint of water. Bring to a boil. Reduce the heat and simmer for 30 minutes. Strain, and then after straining, the strained water is what you would use with a clean cloth to apply to the affected area several times a day. And this is for psoriasis. Now, if you're familiar with psoriasis, it's a skin condition. And normally when you go to an allopathic dermatologist, which you would get, it's some very serious drugs. Okay. This is just going to be treated naturally. And with natural treatments, the steps might take just a little bit longer in some cases, but it's more permanent with no side effects. Remember that. More permanent without side effects. It's rebalancing nature. Then, of course, we already spoke about the ultimate burn treatment. That's cutting open a leaf of aloe vera, applying it immediately after the burn occurs. Relieves the pain and prevents the scarring, guaranteed. And note, if the aloe vera can prevent scarring, it is definitely beneficial for skin. So you can use it in other skin preparations. Now here we have two plants, the native thyme and the mullein. Now, I've been looking for mullein around my area here in Grand Bahama, in the Bahamas. Can't find it as yet, but the son in Canada has been growing a large garden full of mullein, beautiful. He's been harvesting his own mullein because mullein is a very, very powerful expectorant, both thyme and mullein. One of their properties are classified as expectorants. That means they help you to get out mucus and relieve congestion. So let's look at some recipes using these two plants. For cold remedy, a mullein flower infusion. Now, we're using the flower. In this plant, you use the flowers and the leaves. But this remedy calls for using the infusion of the flowers. An infusion is like a tea, not like a tea. It is a tea. Any tea that you would drink is basically an infusion. And this relieves coughing and soothes the mucous membrane lining the throat. 1 handful of mullein flowers in 1 pint of boiling water. You don't boil the flowers, but you boil the water, put the flowers in after water boiled, let it steep for 15 minutes, strain, sweeten with honey, or unsweetened if you prefer. Now, let's remember these remedies because these are remedies that we can actually use without going to the pharmacy to get an antibiotic. And if one plant is not in your vicinity, most likely there is another complementary plant right there that you just need to discover. Because there are classifications of plants in all our environment, and collecting this information, a lot of past generations have gone through great detail of recording and detailing and passing on. So it is available. The flu remedy. 2 pints of boiling water over 1 ounce of elderflowers, 1 ounce of peppermint leaves, cover and let steep for 15 minutes. Strain, drink as often as desired. And notice that when it says drink as often as desired, anytime you come across a phrase like that in herbology or in any type of natural healing, it means that there's no contraindication. There's no danger in the amount you consume. Okay, and that's a flu remedy. And we're mentioning elderflowers and peppermints. Now we look at thyme that we saw in the slide. And thyme can definitely be used as a cough syrup. You pour 1 pint boiling water over 1 ounce of dry thyme, cool to room temperature, strain, add 1 cup of honey, shake to mix well, keep refrigerated. Your cough mixture is 1 tablespoon several times a day for sore throats, colds, and coughing. And I just want to mention here, this is the second time we've mentioned honey. Pasteurized honey is no good, it's poison. Please do not use pasteurized honey in your preparations. And pasteurization involves a heating process that destroys the essential enzymes that are needed to digest honey. And when they're destroyed, then the honey is not good for you, okay? So anytime you come across a bottle of honey labeled pasteurized, know that they're selling poison. Do not purchase it. And that's just general information as we go along. Because honey and raw sugar are 2 things that are molasses, things that can be used to sweeten these preparations. We come now to plantain and pumpkin blossoms. Now, when studying herbology and I came across plantain, I was for sure thinking about the plantain plants that looks like over a large banana. To my surprise, this is a shrub that we consider as weeds that is being referred to. And what we have on my left, might be your left also, is the plantain plant. And then, of course, to the right, we have a big, beautiful pumpkin blossom. And these are the 2 herbs that we're going to talk about next. And here's women's tonic, and these become now into the women's tonics. And these are tonics that help to tone up the reproductive organs and increase the health of tissues that relate to total health. Mix half ounce each of strawberry leaves. That's right, strawberry leaves, plantain leaves, and the plantain that we're referring to is the plantain that we just saw in the picture. Plantain leaves, raspberry leaves, and comfrey leaves. If you don't have these leaves readily available to you, they can be ordered. You can order organic dried leaves, cuttings, whatever is needed. And just be thorough in your sourcing, making sure that your products is coming from a good source. To this mixture, you can add ginger. And what you do is you mix leaves well. And you pour 1 cup of boiling water over 1 teaspoon of the herb mixture. Strain and sweeten as eyes. Drink several times a day for 7 days. And these are elements in here, women, that you definitely could use. Raspberry leaves are perfect for premenstrual cramps, heavy menstruation. These are natural remedies that can be utilized to alleviate pain without pharmaceuticals and side effects. Now, here's a man's general tonic. And in recent decades, prostate cancer has become a very big thing among men, especially Afro, and I don't say Afro-American because dark-skinned men, okay? The prostate issues have a lot to do with our nutrition. However, when problems do arise, a lot of times the methods taken to correct situations exacerbates the situation. I'm just telling you from general experience, okay? So here is a natural tonic that we as men can take to build up the prostate gland in the reproductive area. Now, this utilizes 1 cup of boiling water, 3 pumpkin blossoms, allow it to steep, cover 10 minutes, strain, and sweeten. And you can drink this as often as you desire. Another tip is the pumpkin seeds. You can roast pumpkin seeds, shell it, and eat it for the benefit of the zinc and magnesium in it that is stored in the prostate. When there's a deficiency in zinc and magnesium, you'll find that there is enlargement in the prostate area. These are 2 key minerals that are needed for good prostate health. And the pumpkin seeds, the pumpkin flowers, these are loaded with it. And if the seeds and the flowers have it, know also that you would find some of the same components, some of the same minerals and value in the fruit itself, the pumpkin. So you have the flower, the seed, and the pumpkin itself. Our Father is so good. He's given us complete remedies. Now we come to incorporating herbs in cooking. And this is something I know that most of us already engaged in. So let's encourage, let's do more of it, more of growing our own herbs, using it in our kitchen, utilizing it for benefit. The best results when incorporating herbs in cooking. Here are some suggestions to consider. You have to add the herbs at the appropriate time during cooking, depending on the type. Some needs to go in early, some should go in much later or at the end. When we have woody or coarse herbs like bay leaves, it has to add in the beginning. Well, nothing will happen to the bay leaf. It will actually stay intact throughout the cooking process. But when we have delicate herbs like basil and cilantro, these are normally added at the end because their taste and their nutrient impact is preserved when added at the end, so you get the benefit and not going through the heating process. So those are things to consider when we're cooking the herbs. The next thing is everyone on the platform, because we are in difficult times, and whether you have acknowledged it or not, difficult times are here. And no matter what is being said, to the propaganda, difficult times are here, and that's the realization. What we do about the difficult times is most important. The Father has given us wisdom, and He has made provision for us to actually maintain ourselves during difficult times and without expense. Planting a herb garden would be the most relaxing thing that you can do. It is perfect natural stress management. The benefits from working in the garden on a daily basis is far beyond what we could imagine. I'll give you an example, and it might be straying off course just a little bit, but I think it's information that is valuable. Right now, we are being bombarded by electromagnetic frequency and radiation from the sun. And because our bodies are electromagnetic in nature, it disturbs our electromagnetic flow, our current. And when that happens, many of us will experience fatigue, mental fog, uh, draining. But one of the best ways to combat it is grounding. And working in the garden, working in nature, it helps to stabilize the electromagnetic flow in your body because the earth has its frequency that grounds us. And Dr. Cardi has mentioned grounding over and over and over again. This would be a good time to practice grounding when our atmosphere is being bombarded and it is affecting us physiologically. Okay. So the benefits of gardening, being out in nature, grounding. This is also perfect stress management without drugs, without the pharmaceuticals. This is the best way. You will find that you will come into mental clarity and balance after half hour to an hour. You might not even want to come inside. And that's how it is. Once you get out, then you start playing in the dirt. That's what they call it, playing in the dirt. You don't want to come back inside. The child when you comes back. So plant your garden. Look at the herbs that you want to utilize. Maybe you want to plant herbs for cold and flu, herbs that would manage high blood pressure, various things. Herbs for female uses, herbs for male uses. These are the things that you want to consider. Plant them right outside, right in the backyard. You don't have to get large patches. I think Miss Jerry Russell in the last presentation gave us a good view of gardening. So what I'm talking about follows up on that, utilize the tips in that video and add the information concerning herbs to your asset box and move forward. Now, in summary, herbs have always been the natural cure for myriads of ailments. A return to appreciating herbs is the natural go-to. As the natural go-to is a great asset to natural healing in difficult times, the times that we're in. There are many ways to utilize herbs, whether as a tonic, a tea, a syrup, or a salve, are as close to us as our backyard, literally. Then, the culinary uses of herbs add tasty flavors to our pots while providing healing at the same time. So, in difficult times, herbs for healing is the way to go. Maybe the pharmacy will be closed if you have to go there. Maybe it might be another lockdown situation and you cannot go out because you are restrained. Well, step out the back door, step out the front door, go to the yard, get your medicine that you need, make your preparation, and be stress-free. Here are some of the sources that I got the information from. Dr. Edward Shook's Elementary Treatise in Herbology, and also Jude Williams, Master Herbalist, Jude's Herbal Home Remedies. Both books are very good for herbalists as an introduction. So, with that, we come to the end of the presentation, and it's time for comment, discussion, and questions. I do hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it. And okay, yes, there are books that has the recipes. And for you, Ima, I can get you those recipes. Okay, that's from son to mother. I can get you those. Okay, Dr. Cardi.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go into comments and discussions now.
Um, yes, excellent discussion, pertinent information, especially in times when people are becoming so health conscious that there is a need to move away from pharmaceuticals and to try things that are more natural. And that forces the question, why would herbal medicines or herbal preparations be preferable to pharmaceutical medicines?
That's very good. Now, I know that you're asking that from the perspective for the benefit of the platform, because I know that you may answer for that right off the bat. But with as was mentioned in the presentation, the herbs and natural medicine come as a complete package. When taken, they don't come with side effects or produce side effects, primarily because in synthesized medicine, they cannot reproduce those balances that Yah has put in the herbs that would actually counteract the side effects. So what you're getting is half of what Yah has provided, and you're getting half of the benefit. But that half of benefit that you're getting is causing a spiral effect of other detrimental issues that you will need more pharmaceuticals for. But when you go to the plant-based, you get the complete package, with side effects. And I say without the side effects, that is if you follow the directions correctly, because there are some plants that you should not overconsume. And that is something to be knowledgeable about.
So true. Yes, and you see, I raise the question because we live in a culture that says you get sick, you go to the doctor and get medicine. And people are more comfortable getting a prescription from the doctor than, say, going to plants. In fact, there are some individuals who would look at those of us involved in natural medicine, oh, they're just bush doctors. You know, that kind of nonchalant, just dismissive attitude toward people like us. But one of the things I always try to emphasize for individuals who are having difficulty making the choice is that while some producers might tell you, oh, well, the drugs are made from natural products, it's not always true. Because what has happened is that research is done on the plants, yes. The potent compound is identified, but then the producers would go to the laboratory and synthesize it in the lab. It's very much like making common salt. To digress a bit, I remember when I taught science in school and we did things like neutralization and so forth, it was always interesting to teach the students how common salt is made. Common salt is just sodium chloride. But common salt is made by adding sodium hydroxide, which is caustic acid, to hydrochloric acid, another acid, you know, and you put those two together, neutralization occurs, you get common salt. But is that common salt edible? You know, and I never encourage the students, and not even to taste it, even though we know it is sodium chloride, you see. But the sodium chloride that comes from nature, from the sea, for example, from salt ponds, it's much more edible, and it has other compounds attached to it, other salts attached to it, to help. So that, to come back to the point I was making, the drugs are synthesized in laboratories, and what happens is that the efficacious compounds, those curative compounds, are concentrated in the drugs, and that is why we have the side effects. Because when you're taking a concentrated amount of a substance, it is going to affect your system. because the bodies are not made for toxicity. And if you take too much of a good thing, it becomes toxic.
Yes.
You see, so one has to be so careful. And then to compare the pharmaceutical drugs with the actual plants, what we would note is that inside of the plant, you not only have the necessary compound that you need for a particular health problem, but there are other compounds in the plant that form a buffer around that, so that you do not suffer the side effects. That's why you were able to say, Cohen, that you can drink certain teas as often as desired, because there'll be no side effects. It's like eating food. You see, as long as you don't overeat, you know that you're doing quite fine. You see, so that would be, I would say, the plus for herbal preparations as against pharmaceutical drugs. Don't know if you would want to add anything else to that, or if anybody else might have questions or comments. Corinne, you're there? It seems like we've lost Cohen again. And his screen seems to be frozen. But anybody has a question or comment? You're very silent. Okay, I see in the chat, somebody says, okay, my friends, John and Lisa are leaving now. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, bless you. Yes, short earlier. Any questions, comments? Okay, we do have one other of our vice presidents on, Nurse Juliet Allen, they're in Canada. Nurse Juliet, very happy to have you. I don't know if you want to add anything, make a comment as it relates to our presentation tonight. Or just to share a thought with the folks online.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Carty. Appreciate the presentation. I do apologize for being away for a while, but it is indeed a refresher session for me, as I've been busy working as well. But praise you for the attendance, and I really encourage everyone to continue support and continue gaining knowledge and wisdom about and regarding all this herbs and natural remedies that could help us in any day, any time that we feel any ailments. But appreciate it once again, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nurse Juliet.
I'm back again.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, just had Nurse Juliet giving us a greeting.
Oh yeah. Oh, so nice.
Or you would have missed her.
I saw our wonderful assistant vice president. So glad that that you have the night spirit to come out to this platform that you built. Okay. And Dr. Scott, just before my internet clicked out, what I wanted to follow up on what you said was the fact
Yes.
that every time that a laboratory produces a synthetic drug, they patent it, and
Yes.
then they persecute persons for actually using the plants from which they synthesize the drug from.
Right, right.
So we know for a fact that if they're borrowing from nature, we could go directly to nature without cost.
Right, right. For example, just to share an experience I had recently, I had a dental procedure done, and it would have caused some pain, but not much, not too much. And they were offering me paracetamol. So I declined. I said, no, I don't really need that. And they were surprised, you don't need it. I said, I don't need that. Then I said, I have my own paracetamol growing in my yard. So I'll be using that when I go home. And so I came home, made some paracetamol tea, and I think I only had to use it either just once or twice and had no problem with pain after that. You see. And so I got the real natural stuff. And by the way, for those of you who are prone to using painkillers, now painkillers are in a group of substances called NSAIDs, Tylenol, ibuprofen, paracetamol, you name them. And they're all very detrimental, especially to the digestive system. They cause damage to your stomach lining over time. So if you can use natural painkillers, get some paracetamol, grow it in your yard, you'll be doing just fine. You don't have to buy over-the-counter painkillers. And then too, they can become addictive. Some people are addicted to painkillers and then they move from one mild painkiller to a stronger one and so forth, and just wreak havoc on your system. So try as much as possible to stay away from over-the-counter painkillers. Use natural plants for dealing with that.
And that's a wonderful,
That's
that's a wonderful suggestion, Dr. Carty, because the United States is still dealing with fentanyl crisis right now, using fentanyl as a painkiller. And I had clients come to me with sciatic nerve pain, but they've been to their medical doctor. And what they prescribe for sciatic nerve pain, over the same thing, NSAIDs. And the thing about it is, that cannot correct the sciatic injury. So you'll continue to have the symptom, which is the pain from the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve needs to be addressed. And normally it's a bit of stretching and techniques that you would use that would alleviate that pain. But giving NSAIDs, what you are doing is actually, as you said, you're destroying the body. And then you're going to find that to mask that pain, you have to get stronger and stronger, and pray that your doctor is not getting kickbacks from fentanyl, because you'd be you'd be part of the opioid crisis.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
And
sir.
they do get kickbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to hear from you. It's very quiet on the platform. Anybody has a question or comment? Just share an experience. Let us hear your voice. We know that you are real.
Yes. And if you're from one of the Caribbean islands and you have of a plant that has been used as medicine that has not been mentioned for the benefit of those on the platform who can benefit from that, I'd like to encourage you just to mention it. For instance, we have something that grows, a vine that grows here called cerasee. How many of you have cerasee growing in your vicinity? And do you call it cerasee? Because I found, Dr. Gotti, that many of the names of the plants have, they have English names, they have Spanish names,
Yes.
they have French names. Everyone have their particular name for the plant. Our cerasee in India, which is grown and harvested, it's called bitter melon or bitter gourd. And the little gourds on our cerasee is what you normally purchase in this food store as bitter melon.
Yes.
But it's the same plant, a variety of the same plant with the same benefits. And bitter gourds have been, or bitter melon is very effective in controlling blood sugar.
Right.
So consuming it and even drinking the cerasee tea is very good for diabetics.
Yes. You also have a vine. Here in St. Kitts, we refer to it as lizard food. It bears a yellow fruit. When the fruit is ripe, it is yellow, and you split it open, it has red seeds. Well, the seeds are covered with a red kind of soft tissue, and we just suck that red thing off. It's fairly sweet. Yeah, but you know, lizards like to eat it, so we call it lizard food. But it's actually, I think it's maple apple. It's maple apple. I think that's the correct name. It's very good for high blood pressure. That's one of the things it's used for. Yeah, boil the leaves and drink it. Help to bring the pressure down. But it grows wild as a vine.
Yes, I think I've seen that plant study, and broke open the fruit and saw those red seeds, but I
Yes.
never tried to taste it. But next time I'll pick it.
Yes, it's edible. It's edible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share anything? Herbs from that vicinity, or herbal cures that was passed down? There we go. We got Sharon Hepson with a hand up, Dr. Covey.
Yes, Shahid Hepzibah.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom.
Um,
Shalom.
Yes, yeah, I think one of the things too that we have, I guess that's readily available. Well, the session was cutting out a lot, so I don't know if you all had mentioned it, but the moringa,
Oh,
the moringa plant tree, you know, we boil the leaves. Some people chew the seeds, and we find that persons like my mom, she's she's a firm believer in, you know, she boils her bitters, as she calls it. So she'll boil, uh, she does Sarasi, as Cohen was talking about, the neem, Sarasi neem, and I think she puts moringa in it as well. And I think she does the guava leaf too. She does a little mixture that she drinks, especially if she finds that she's starting to get a little, her throat is bothering her, or she starts to get a little sniffles. I think the thing is to be very in touch with how your body's feeling as well. So she kind of
yeah.
stays on top of it. Right away, she gets into it. So, you know, I find that there's so much moringa trees around. Dr. Carter, you got a chance to see them when you were here.
Yeah.
And I think she has about 5 in her yard. So it's readily available. So she just goes right outside. She'll get some moringa and she'll boil it and make a tea. And you know, I find that rather than us um, just going to even buy the tea bags or whatever, as we have known them to be, you know, you can just make a nice iced tea. And since it's summer, you could actually put it in the fridge and just enjoy it. Add a little lemon, a little honey, and you have a nice, wonderful tea. I know Cohen does one with, is it sorrel? You know, with the ginger. It's just so many nice things, especially that we can utilize and drink and use. That's good for our bodies and it's healthy for us, and it's better than buying the tea bags in the store.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, the sorrel, there is a plant that is somewhat of a family to the sorrel. It's an ornamental plant called the hibiscus. Talking about teas, how many of you have lots of hibiscus plants in your yards and the flowers just bare and fall off every day? But you can make hibiscus tea with the petals. It's an excellent tea, and it does have a medicinal value as well, right? So instead of allowing your hibiscus flowers to go to waste, just pick the petals, make some tea, steep it. But when you steep that tea, it turns a very dark color, almost blackish. And all you need to do is 1 or 2 drops of lemon juice, and you get a nice red tea. You can flavor it with ginger. I noticed Cohen during his presentation, I indicated that some of your herb teas could be flavored with ginger. But one of the things I want to share with you about making herbal teas is that very often we actually waste our herbs. Why do I say that? you take the whole leaves, you put them in your pot, put some boiling water over it, and you allow it to steep. How much of the nutrients are you getting from those leaves? Not much. Maybe about 20-25%, probably up to 50% if you let it steep long enough. But what I usually do is I blend the leaves in the water first. By blending the leaves, you break them up into very tiny bits so that when you steep it, you get an optimum amount of nutrients from those leaves. You just strain it off when you're done and you have an excellent tea. Much more potent than if you just steep the leaves whole. So next time you're going to make your tea, just try that. Blend the leaves first and you just steep that water, bring it up to a boil and then allow it to steep. You have an excellent tea. Okay. Seems like we've lost coin again. Nurse Juliet? Any final comments before we wind down? Okay, Cohen is back.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
We're still experiencing some little effects, technological effects from the weather.
Oh boy, yeah. Right. In fact, they did say that would happen because of all of that electromagnetism coming from the sun.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay, so I guess if we don't have any more questions, comments, we can bring our session to a close. Do we have one last question or comment before we close? Okay. So could we ask our Vice President, Nurse Juliet Allen, to close us in prayer, please? Nurse Allen?
Thank you, Dr. Carty. Appreciate the presentation, Kohan, Ari. We thank you for continued support and be the pillar of teaching continuously in this platform. And yes, and thank you everyone for supporting Health Corner and the RSRMI and all the works that Kohen Ari and Dr. Carty in this platform and out and all and through their businesses as well. Please continue to invite everyone as well so they may gain some knowledge and how to use and also resource alternative herbs and medications through natural that are accessible in our own yards or in our own vicinities. So appreciate once again. All right, let's bow down our heads. Almighty Father, we thank you for another excellent session tonight on behalf of RSRMI and this platform. May you continue to be blessed and praised in all your provisions, in all the extent of this session, Father, that may touch and reach each and every one far and wide in all corners of wherever you want it to be, Father. Father, may we continue to support and encourage one another as these times may be very difficult to others, Father, but we continue to rely and have faith in you and you alone. And we ask for guidance continually, Father, for your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in all we hear, in all we see, in all we appreciate around us, Father. And those things that may be discouraging, but turn them into good for us, Father. So we thank you once again and continue to bless each and every one. And also to mention, lift up Cohen Ari and Dr. Carty to continue to bless them, bless their hands as they provide for their families as well and their communities. We thank you for this platform that you continue to provide, so we continue to have medium on ways to obtain sources or resource, Father, and ask questions, an opportunity to listen and be heard as well. May you again be praised, your most set apart name, through your Son, precious Son, Yeshua Mashiach. We give you thanks. Hallelujah. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for having joined us tonight, and we look forward to 2 Tuesday nights from now when we will have our final presentation in this mini series called Adjusting to Difficult Times. That final session is going to be on stress management, and we know everybody experiences some degree of stress, so you'd want to be here in the next 2 weeks, you're willing, and invite a friend. When you get the link, share it with others so that other people can come and appreciate that presentation. So again, good night, everyone. Shalom. Have a good night's rest.
Shalom and good night.
Praise Yah.
Shalom and good night.
Shalom, shalom. Good night.